Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful and kind-hearted girl named Cinderella. She lived with her wicked stepmother and two stepsisters, who treated her unkindly and made her do all the chores in the house. One day, the king announced a grand royal ball at the palace, and all the young maidens in the kingdom were invited. Cinderella dreamed of going to the ball and dancing with the prince, but her stepmother and stepsisters were determined to keep her at home. As the day of the ball approached, Cinderella's fairy godmother appeared. With a wave of her wand, she transformed a pumpkin into a sparkling carriage, mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and Cinderella's torn dress into a magnificent gown. "Remember, my dear," said the fairy godmother, "you must leave the ball before the clock strikes midnight. At midnight, the magic will end." Cinderella stepped into the carriage and rode off to the palace, her heart full of hope. When she arrived, all eyes were on her. The prince himself was captivated by her beauty and grace. They danced and laughed together, and Cinderella felt like she was floating on air. But as the night went on, Cinderella became worried about the time. She knew she had to leave before midnight. In her haste, she accidentally dropped one of her glass slippers on the grand staircase. Without saying a word, she hurried away from the ball, leaving the prince longing to find her again. The next day, the prince declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the glass slipper. He and his servants went from house to house, trying the slipper on every young woman in the kingdom. When they arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepsisters eagerly tried to squeeze their feet into the slipper, but it was no use. Cinderella, who had been working in the kitchen, watched as the prince and his servants prepared to leave. She summoned the courage to ask, "May I try on the slipper?" The prince and the servants looked at her in surprise. They had not noticed Cinderella before, hidden away in her rags. But when Cinderella slid her foot into the glass slipper, it fit perfectly. The prince's eyes lit up with joy. He knew he had found his true love. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters watched in astonishment as Cinderella transformed into a radiant princess before their eyes. Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their past mistreatment and invited them to join her in the palace. From that day on, they all lived happily together, and Cinderella and the prince's love grew stronger with each passing day. And so, the story of Cinderella and the lost slipper became a legend in the kingdom, reminding everyone that true love can overcome any obstacle, and that even the simplest, most overlooked person can be a princess deep down inside.